Hi friends, I'm so happy to be here and I'm so happy to welcome you to my YouTube channel, We Can Make a Difference. I have a beautiful story for you today. A story that I had taken from the gospel, a story that Jesus said in his lifetime. He shared it with many of his listeners and especially with his apostles. He talks about a rich man, a very wealthy man who had a very rich harvest, what I would call a bumper harvest. And this rich harvest suddenly became a problem for him. Problem because he realized the bumper crop was beyond his expectation and he did not have enough storage, enough barns to collect, to gather all the harvest produce that he had. And so, as I said, it was a problem. He was worried. He did not know what to do with all this rich harvest that he had from his harvest. And so he thought over it. I'm sure he must have asking people. I don't know what he did, but he came out with the solution. The solution was this: to bring down the small barns and rebuild instead of them bigger barns. So he did. He brought down the smaller barns and rebuilt bigger barns, and he stored all his produce in that big, huge storage. He was very happy. He was so happy that he had found a very an excellent solution to the problem. By building bigger barns, he did not waste his produce. He was very happy, very happy. And I'm sure he went to sleep that night. He was very content. He must have been so proud of himself that he had solved the problem and he had gathered all the grains, the produce from the fields. But something went unexpectedly. At the middle of the night, there was a knock at his door. He was troubled, he was angry, he was disappointed that somebody would knock at the door at the middle of the night. And then he asked from inside, who was the one at the door? And then he heard the voice of the angel who said, I am the angel. I have come here to take you. Your life is over. You are going to be dead. Fast forward. Jesus asks a question at the end of the story. Who shall these be? Meaning, who shall these produce all the wealth, all the riches of this man? Who shall these be? What a question, my dear brothers and sisters. What a powerful question. Sometimes or very often we forget that we are not here on a permanent basis. We are here on a temporary basis. We are on a pilgrimage. Life is a pilgrimage, and we are here today, tomorrow we are gone. Look at this rich man, this wealthy man. Never once a charitable thought passed through his mind. I have so much I have been blessed. Let me share something of this. From this rich harvest, let me share something of this with my neighbors or people who have nothing to eat, poor people. He never thought of that. He was hoarding, he was collecting everything to himself. And so, my dear friends, I want to ask this question: what drives me? What drives us? Are we driven by need or are we driven by greed? I must say, many of us in the world are driven by greed, not by need. And that's why there's so much of disharmony in our lives. We are never satisfied with what we have. We never grow grateful to God because we are so blind, spiritually blind. We are blinded by our wealth. Our wealth today actually is a big problem. For many people, their problem is they have too much. They have too much wealth, too much possession, and that become their problem. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, I like to share this poem with you. Need or greed? Are you driven by need or are you driven by greed? As I always encourage you, look at the line, look at the words of my poem and see what line speak to you, what line will fit you, fit you or applies to you. Those lines, please take them and see how you can make this line meaningful to your life. Thank you.
A poem, Greed or Need, by our beloved Father Antony Varapalli. Greed or need? Mother Earth has more than what we need. All her children she can gladly feed. Everyone can live with dignity, and we can build a world of plenty. Poverty wasn't in the Creator's plan, nor did he create a selfish man. Man began to amass out of greed. To have more and more became his creed. Rich get richer is a true story. They only care for name and glory. They make money at poor man's expense. They fail to see his life of suspense. They care less for the poor people's plight, counting the money as their delight. They forget they can't serve God and mammon. Sharing gifts for them is not common. They are busy building new storage and protect their treasure from pillage. If they only knew all they have is fleeting, they would build treasures that are lasting. The world would be a better place to live if the rich would just learn to share and give. We would all think of life hereafter. This world is not our home forever.